I'm good. How are you?
I'm also with him. So, first of all, let me introduce myself.
Yeah.
My name is Akash, and I have a YouTube channel called Trying to Know Cinema. And I do
Yeah.
podcasts with filmmakers, cinematographers, editors.
Okay.
Currently, I live in Jalandhar, Punjab, but we
Oh,
are
nice.
basically from Nepal. We are Nepali, speak
Okay.
Nepali at home. Never been to Nepal.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah. I want to become a filmmaker, that's why I do podcasts.
Oh, no, nice.
Yes.
And how did you get in touch with so many people for your podcast?
Like message them. That's
Okay.
message bunch of
Okay.
them and hope for the
And they
reply.
reply. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
So
Okay.
let's start.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
So what inspired you to become a cinematographer? Why you choose to become a cinematographer?
Okay. So I have a very different take on this in the sense that I never thought I'll be a cinematographer. I wanted to be a actor, and I used to do a lot of acting in school and early days of college. And while I was doing acting, I also wanted to get into direction. But then, so I did some acting courses back then, and then I remember a close friend of mine who's also a cinematographer was pursuing cinematography, and she told me about cinematography. So that's when the seed came in about what a cinematographer is. So then I was like, okay, fine, I'll finish my graduation. So I graduated in BA Honors in International Relations. And I was like, okay, fine, after my graduation, I'll go for a professional course and stuff. But then till then, I was not aware exactly what a cinematography is, like how it is, the nature of cinematography. Like I knew kya hai and stuff, but nature of cinematography was still not a very, I didn't know in depth about it. So then, after my graduation, I applied for colleges where there was no specialization like FTI, Xavier's, and FTI had a no admission year that year, but they still do exams. So I was like, okay, fine. I still gave the, and then after that, uh, I got an opportunity to work as an assistant director for a Gujarati feature. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll join it, and then I took a year break after my graduation. So then, during that time, I the cinematography was always anyway seeded in my head. So I was like, anyway, I'll go and see how it is like to work as an assistant director. Then once I got into the project, that was the first experience of me of being on a big set. So all pre-production, everything, I was working as an assistant director. But when we went on floor, things changed for me. I saw how actual set works like, what a cinematography, what cinematographers do, and how they work, what is their role in detail, in depth, basically. And it kind of really, I was very mesmerized by the idea to work behind the camera. So it's a very weird journey that I wanted to be in front of camera, but I came behind the camera. And yeah, so I did the whole film, and obviously everybody in the set knew that either I'll be a director or I'll get into cinematography. They also let me experience. My director was also very chill in that way. You see what you want to experience and stuff. And then yeah, so I did. I worked for a year. I was doing my assistant director's job, and then whenever I used to get time, I used to go around, be around the DOP, try and understand what it is, why he's doing what. I kind of got a lot into it. And that's when, after the film got completed, I decided I wanted to study, but I was sure this time that I wanted to do specialization in cinematography. I did not want to go for a course where I am going to go there and explore and stuff. So then I uh, I had two options: either I'd come to Bombay or if I go abroad. But I did my exploration, and I kind of didn't want to leave my home so soon and go abroad. And then I always wanted to come to Bombay, so I was like, fine. So then I joined a course in Whistling in cinematography. And during that time, I tried seeing a lot of different courses, but like different film schools. But Whistling Woods kind of showed me it. It was an environment, a Whistling Woods. If you study there, you also network. You also get hands-on experience to lights, cameras. So that's how I got into cinematography. I graduated and then I started working professionally.
Okay. And ma'am, your parents were like fine with like you want to pursue cinematography. They supported you.
My parents never had a problem with me choosing any field, but they always wanted me to go in something which I'm very sure about. And till the time, but they were very clear that I'll go after graduation. I mean, it's okay. They thought that, because the field is uncertain, and at that time, degree mattered a lot. So they were like, it's better you have. And also, I remember after my school, I'd gone to visit FTI, and I met a professor there, and he told me, I was very young that time, just after school, right? So he told me, why you want to get into filmmaking? You should do your graduation and come, which is why FTI has after graduation. Then I asked him why after graduation, and he's like, you need life experiences to understand filmmaking, and that also kind of stuck by me, and which is why I kind of got convinced to the fact that yes, I think I need more life experiences, little more sensitivity to life, because when you're in your teenage, you don't really have that much sensitivity to understand stuff. But once you are little mature, you kind of understand. And it happened to me. I kind of understood filmmaking more as I grew. I understood films more as I grew. And I also remember when I used to do acting courses professionally, then I used to go for workshops and stuff. I remember we had a sensitivity workshop, and the first sensitivity workshop, we all were just laughing, and we couldn't understand what the workshop is. And my teacher at that time, he told us that, see, this is exactly why you need to keep going through to understand what sensitivity is. Like if somebody says your XYZ person is close to you is harmed, hypothetically you will be like, whatever, like, but you don't experience it and understand the depth of the emotion, you know, till you do have that level of sensitivity. So, the acting course definitely opened that to me, made me more sensitized, and more than that, it made me emotionally open. Where I was guarded, made me emotionally open. So, graduation really helped. After graduation, by chance, I got the Gujarati film as an ED, which also helped me to basically it was guiding me to my interests. You know.
Yeah. And ma'am, what was your experience in Whistling Wood? Because it's a really expensive school. And ma'am, how long was the course? And what did you learn there, ma'am?
So I did a diploma in filmmaking. It wasn't a graduation; it was a diploma degree. Yes, it's expensive, uh, but for me it was worth it. Like for me, because I went there with technically zero knowledge. In the sense, I knew everything very basic. I knew how to operate a camera. I knew what lighting was, but I didn't know the depth of it at all. And because I went with a curious mind, I had the opportunity to explore way more than, and I think any institution would have done that. But why Whistling Woods was because by the time I decided that I wanted to study, I had lost a lot of other college deadlines because I was already involved in a project, and by the time the project got over, I had already lost a lot of deadline. I had very limited options to choose upon. Um, and then it just happened that I visited Bombay. I visited different. colleges. And whistling woods showed me that, okay, I can, we have specialization here. So it was a 2-year course in which 6 months was a foundation. And they also just don't give you cinematography like that. They won't be like, okay, you want to be a director? Okay, come with. No. You have to go through 6 months training at that time when I studied. In that, that in one way is good because it helps you to also think, like there are people who come with a mindset, I want to become a director. And while you're doing the 6 months of course in everything else, you realize, oh no, I'm interested in editing or I'm interested in sound. So you do 6 months foundation, then you have in literally another entrance exam to do your specialization. So you make a foundation film and then you give your requirement key, I want, this is, there are these three options, I want to be a DOP, want to study cinematography, I want to study editing and direction. So my choices were cinematography, direction and editing. एंड आई वाज श्योर कि मैं और कुछ करना ही नहीं होगा, मेरे को अगर नहीं मिलेगा मैं कॉलेज छोड़ दूंगी, आई विल नॉट डू एनीथिंग एल्स. It was very clear. So even in my interview also, I told my HOD very clearly that, see, I understand, if you take me, yes, I'll give my 100%. But if you don't give me, then I don't know why I'm here. Then I don't have other reasons to be here. So then they give your they take your interview on the basis of the film you've shot as your preference. Then you have an interview with your HOD. Then they take your time and then they decide if they want to get you or not. So it is a process. You have to what do you call? You have to put efforts for something that you want to earn, basically. So it was that. So for me, everything, and I got cinematography, and everything was new. My first class was full of math, science, calculations, and I was like, okay, this is like, I knew the basics, but this is a lot different than what I thought. It was pretty intense. So yeah.
Okay. And ma'am, then you have done your course. Like, how did you find your first job as a DOP in film industry professionally?
So after I completed my course, I kind of started. So after your 2 years, you do a diploma film, right? So my director wanted to shoot the diploma film starting me. He was like, I don't want to wait for everybody else to shoot it. I want to just shoot and do it, because his mentality was that the more I delay in shooting, the more I'll get worked up. Then my script is not right, my preparation is not right. So we shot a diploma film pretty early, and then I had a lot of time. I, I was assisting other batchmates and stuff. But yeah, so after that, I was doing small jobs like doing coverage, even coverages for beauty brands and stuff like small, just to get the hands on, not a proper experience. But then I remember there's this a community called Indie League of Filmmakers, and I randomly came onto that on Facebook, and I saw that they have a meeting and stuff, and I just went to Bandra to have a meeting, and I went. It was very small meeting of like around 50, 60, like 50, 30, 50 people, I think, somewhere like that, not a lot. Yeah, a lot of filmmakers, and they were showing films and discussing and stuff. So then I got into the WhatsApp group, and then it was nice. It was just I met, and then slowly there people used to put post requirements. Okay, we need this, we need that. So there was a filmmaker who posted a requirement for a DOP, and I sent him my diploma film, and he had already seen my diploma film because he by the lead actor in my diploma film was also the lead actor in this film, and he had already shown him the film, and he had already seen it. So he's like, okay, okay, come tomorrow, we are shooting. So I was like, okay, that's too quick, but yeah, okay, fine, I'll go. So I went, and it was a short motion film called Religion for Dummies, and that is what we shot. And it was a 10-day shoot, and so after that, it was a lot of word of mouth because I kept doing short films with him and otherwise, and also because of this league. of filmmakers that I was a part of. I met other few people. So and I kept doing projects, but I was more inclined towards doing short films. And I loved doing short films because it gave me more freedom to make mistakes and learn, and because when you go as a DOP, and especially fresh out of film school, you learn something. Like as I said, Whistling Woods it taught me everything basics because I went with like a very open mind to learn. So it helped me to learn how to work. But every time you make a mistake, you learn more better, right? But your foundation should be strong. You have to know what you are doing. It's like maths. Basic strong है तो आप कुछ भी कर लोगे. It's similar to that. So when I knew how to light up, how to use a camera, so it just helped me. And for me, it was more about experimenting. And my director was like, I've done 6 to 7 films, short films with him, and he was like full experimenting. He did not stop me till he felt कि अच्छा this is not looking nice. He never stopped me. He let me experiment. So that really helped. And then the short films kept going for a lot of film festivals, was coming on a lot of other platforms. So that was gaining a lot of attraction. Newspaper articles, all of that stuff. So that, and then word of mouth. And I kept collaborating with different people. So for me, my door was short films.
Ma'am, if you can tell me, like, what is the job of a cinematographer? Like, then shoot and what they do.
So how I perceive is that yes, designing lighting, designing framing is there. But I also believe that as a cinematographer, um, you basically bring on screen the vision that your director or the script sees, right? You are making that vision, which I think that's a very powerful thing. What you're visualizing and what you're bringing it on screen. So for me, that is what cinematographer is basically bringing a vision to life. And yes, with the help of tools like lighting, camera, and stuff. So I think it's a very beautiful field to be in because you get to create something that nobody else but you can see it first, through your viewfinder, you can see it first. And that's why I feel that you have that power to also it's sorry, it's weird how your mind works in every different film. There's a different way you light it up. There's a different way you shoot it. It's so much of, I won't say it's a challenge, but it's so much of maybe a challenge in a good way that you get to create different setups, and you are the first person to visualize it and see it along with the director, obviously. But it is a collaborative process. It is nothing without a director. Till your vision is aligned with the director, that's when cinematography is also has the weightage. The moment you get away from your director's vision and your vision is different, the output is going to. So for me, this is what I say, that filmmaking, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that oh, acting is better or cinematography is better. It's a collaborative process. When you see a film, it has to look seamless. It has to look like all the departments have come in together to create something. It has to look seamless. So I think that is where the power of a good team and a good crew comes in place also.
Ma'am, when you read a script, so you visualize the camera movement and the lenses, or is it collaborative with the director?
No, so definitely for me, for me how it works is so after my college also, when I was into short films, I got to work as I got a Kannada feature film, and that was my first feature, and it was a very different style of shooting. It was not a very what do you call a commercial setup, but it was a very run and gun documentary style of shooting. And that's when I had also explored about myself. And as I said before, that every film I explore a different style, a different experiment and different working. So um, there I learned how to visualize the film in the sense not only by reading the script but also by edit. Okay, because you need to also understand that आप कौन से shots ले रहे हो, and how is it going to play in the edit. So I remember me and my director, we used to have, she used to have this thing that you need to visualize the film in your head. And it really helped me. So after I got trained so much in that process, because it was a year-long project, that every time I get a script, when I'm reading, it's just automatic. I can just see how the film is going to flow. And then I put it across to the director. Then I tell him, okay, this is what I'm imagining. And then sometimes when you're most of the times I end up aligning with the director because obviously it's a process. You just don't meet a director and start shooting. Understand the person. That's my process because I'm very emotionally inclined to things. For me, emotion matters a lot. So if I'm doing something, if I'm not 100% invested in it, then my output is going to suffer, whatever it is. So for me, I have to be the moment I'm like even like 50-60% involved, then everything will go here and there. So and it's not difficult. It's not that I need to like especially वो gut वाली feeling होती है, vibe वाली है ना. आपको gut आ जाता है कि हाँ ये आपके लिए सही है, तो आप incline हो ही जाते हो automatically. So in that way, yes. So whenever I'm reading, it always helps me to क्योंकि scripts में होता भी है, the screenplays are such that it kind of gives you a sense of the environment, and it's just that imagination है. It is like you're running a movie in your head. It's like that. So I think that's something that I consider very powerful tool that I have in my head, to work that way.
And ma'am, in screenplay, like camera movements are written in screen. Have you ever read this type of scripts?
हाँ, काफी काफी में रहते भी है. हाँ, काफी में रहते हैं. They're like the camera is tracking in slowly. काफी में नहीं भी होते. So it really depends. But वो काफी it also comes with the fact that how your director has also written. So a lot of the times the director have also this in their mind. This is what I'm looking. This is how I'm seeing. This tight shot I'm seeing. You know, and then you're like, okay, fine. Maybe अगर मेरे vision में वो नहीं है, then I'll put across my vision. This is how I think it is, and then they will visualize. Take their time to figure out. कभी कभी क्या होता है कि directors नहीं समझते. I'm not saying नहीं समझते. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि for them it is like when they see it they understand also. And it's with anybody, right? I think it's with anybody that sometimes you see it then only you realize what sometimes they understand, some people can visualize. So if you are convinced that no, this is going to look better, then you show it to your director on shoot. Maybe Reki may will be like, okay, fine, we'll do this, but I'll show you this also. And then on set, if you have time or no, but you figure out how to have time, you show it to them. And sometimes they end up liking it, sometimes they don't. If they end up liking it, good. If they don't end up liking it, you do it their words. Because ultimately it's their vision also. But it always have to be, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि your vision is not valued at all. It has to be a half midway thing. Like तुम 50-50 में आके काम करो. तभी the film will not suffer also. The moment if it doesn't go at all your way, and if it is not going your way, then you need to understand why. Maybe you're not aligned to the script the way the director is. You try to understand the director. So it has a lot to do with understanding the person you're working with closely. And it's not only the director, it's also the production designer because everybody is also there to put in their hard work. Nobody's it's an artistic field, right? सबको अपना arts art skill. Like, I'm not saying art skill, but it's a very imaginative, creative field, and everybody wants to experiment and do their stuff also, right? वो aligned होना जरूरी है. You need to understand why. Even a production designer would also get irritated if it's उसका थोड़ा भी नहीं चलेगा. See, everybody's coming with their expertise. So you also need to understand like how the director is trusting me. I need to trust the other crew. So you need to understand, okay, they come from a different expertise. You need to understand. And if it is not aligned, talk to them, figure out the midpoint, see what it is aligning for you, and then you work.
Let's just say it takes 1 year to make a film. So how many days a cinematographer works there?
It depends. Abhi, आजकल with the digital and the way things are happening, like my class project that I did as a second unit cinematographer, it's on Amazon Prime called Dancing in the Grave. So that took 55 days to shoot in total. Before that, I did a feature as an assistant cinematographer that took like 34 days to shoot. There was the Marathi film that I shot as a DOP that took like around 35 days to shoot. And then I did a web series recently last year that took around 15-20 days to shoot. So it really depends on the budgets. Really depends on uh, the scale of the project, the budgets, the timelines, when they want to release, how they want to do. So post production usually takes up a lot of time. Um, so yeah, so I think shooting and post मिलाते हैं एक साल हो ही जाता है.
Like for cinematography, there are gender differences between like women cinematographer are less. I've heard like in interviews. I was talking to Priya Seth as well. She said like there are
Yeah,
very few female cinematographers.
yeah. So I think now it is increasing. Like there are women who are practicing cinematography. When I had joined, like when I had started, I came across few female cinematographers, and and that time there was a smaller community. Now it is a little. Now people are joining, so it's become only bigger set of community. So there are a lot of women cinematographers, but just don't do only um, fiction stuff and all that. They are also into documentaries, they're into ads. Yeah. They're into also director DOP setups. Yeah.
And what are the like working hours for cinematographers?
It's can go beyond 12 hours, but if you're working at a good, decent production house, then they usually end up the shoot by 12 hours. But yeah, you don't get breaks because you're shooting, then you're setting up, then you're shooting, then you're setting up. You know. So just say I remember when I used to work as an assistant director who एक रहता था ओके अभी तो लाइट सेटअप हो रहा है तो काइंड ऑफ गेटिंग a chill time. वो नहीं होता है इधर तुम खत्म करते हो you're on to next set, you're on to next scene, you're on to next scene. So if you're working for 12 hours, you're just working for 12 hours. It's a whole uh, this thing. And मैं तो 16 to 18 आवर्स कंसिडर करके चलती हूँ गिव एंड टेक कि हाँ मेरे को पता है कि अगर है तो थ्रू द टाइम आई वेक अप टू गो टू सेट कम बैक होम स्लीप इतना टाइम तो हो ही जाता
If somebody wants to become a cinematographer, like there's cinematographer and under there's assistant cinematographer, and how many people are there?
है in the sense if somebody wants to be a DOP then
Like there's assistant cinematographer, there's gaffer. How many like under cinematographer? How many people are there?
so it really depends on the crew size you want to work with as a DOP. It really depends on the DOP, but the key is always you, your gaffer, your focus puller. Then you can choose how many assistants you want to keep. Some people like only one assistant. Like I usually work with one or two. I don't keep a lot. It's just because it depends on the scale of project. If it's a big scale of project where you need more, then you can get three. So it really depends on a DOP. A lot of DOPs they have a chief, an associate also. बट योर की जिसके बिना काम तो नहीं हो सकता, वो गैपर, फोकस पुलर, there is your camera attendants, your lightman, best boy, then there is your grip team, who's doing all your grip. So, and then you have your assistants also. So usually it's a set of those key people who are involved, and that's it. You don't need a lot of, ये मेन लोग होते हैं सब. एंड ये ना बॉम्बे जैसे इंडस्ट्री में लाइटमैन, ग्रिप क्रू, कैमरा अटेंडेंट्स आर वेरी एक्सपीरियंस. सो अगर आपको कभी दो गलती से भी कैमरा अटेंडेंट आ गया ना, आपका काम हो जाएगा, वो करवा के ही रहेंगे. अगर आपको कभी कभी क्या होता है, लाइटमैन कट करवाते हैं कि नहीं हमारे पास बजट नहीं है, तो वी कैन जस्ट हैव लाइक 5 लाइटमैन और 6 लाइटमैन, नॉट 12 लाइटमैन. तो uh, they are so efficient that they, but you also have to, again I said, हर चीज के लिए it's a midpoint. You have to come to a midpoint also. अगर आपका कम लाइटमैन है, तो आप उनको 6 लाइटमैन को 12 लाइटमैन का काम मत दिलाओ. Then you stand up for them and be like, I have limited crew. I'll do your work on time. I'll work on the schedule, but you can't put in, you can't be inhuman about it. So I I stand by that. And then I'm like कि नहीं, अगर 6 लाइटमैन है ठीक है, वो 8 लाइटमैन का काम कर लेंगे, पर आप उनसे 12 या 15 लाइटमैन का काम एक्सपेक्ट करते हो. It's not right, because it's a very tedious job. They also go to get breaks. Same for the grip team, same for the attendant team. But I'm not trying to be biased. I'm just getting reasonable about it.
And ma'am, if somebody wants to assist you as a DOP, like how they can approach you, or do you prefer like film school student or no? If they haven't done any film school, it's fine.
For me, I don't have that criteria. Film school, no film school. Definitely, film school say you get more experience because I have, you at least your foundation is strong, I believe. But I have met a lot of self-taught filmmakers who are saying that the foundation is also strong. What I believe is in body of work, कि आपने कितना काम किया हुआ है पहले. भले ही छोटा स्केल, मैं नहीं बोल रही कि it has to come from a big scale and stuff, but it has to come from a any sort of work, basically, which shows me that first seriousness to pursue. Because filmmaking has, I've seen, it's kind of a joke for a lot of people कि I camera उठा के shoot करना है. हाँ, ठीक है, that's there. It's easy. You can just take a iPhone and go and shoot. But filmmaking is also a craft. It is a job, right? We do it as a job. I won't say job. We do it as a daily routine, as a career, right? So for that, you need to have that sincerity and seriousness towards it. कि whatever department you're going into, that's important, because wo hoga, then only you'll be able to get yourself at least 80% involved in the process, if not 100%. So whatever kind of body of work is, once I see that, then obviously I call them for one shoot, and then I see if we are vibing, if we are on the same page, if they understand me and I understand them. Because I don't want to sit and you know spend time explaining. I would do that in pre-production, but I would not want to do that in what do you call, on a set, right? Because for time भी जाता है, you don't have so much of time. So for that, what I believe is also kitna uh, how much you're understanding each other, how much you're vibing. So for me, even when I take up a assistant job or if I collaborate with a director, this is my always my first criteria. How much they understand me, how much I understand. और वो as I said, gut आई जाती है. For me, it works. मेरे अंदर से मुझे पता चल ही जाता है कि this is going to work or this is not going to work. Is the person understanding or not? So I usually get emails. People approach me through my email and through my website, and they send out me. Then I go through the profile, and then when I have a requirement, I call. So I start with a smaller set of shoots, like if I'm doing a 2 day shoot or something, a corporate or an ad, and then if it is working out, then I take them for the longer projects.
Ma'am, what are your favorite cinematographers, ma'am? That I will.
Uh, I would say uh, I'm not like inspiration is a very big word for me. For me, I like work of a lot of DOPs, but There's not any specific particular that I think he, I wanted to like follow that style and stuff. But for me, I see some cinematographers and I really admire their work. And I see again, I see cinematography as a very and different. Like everybody has their own ideas and own stuff. So I see it in that way. But I think my inspiration mostly comes from how I imagine stuff. You know,
Ma'am, any films that you want to recommend?
any films that I want to.
Recommend, ma'am. Any films you want to recommend? Your favorite films, ma'am. Let's just say that.
Um, I would say there's some series that I've really enjoyed watching, like Ozark. Uh, I think it was a really beautifully executed project. Also, what was very amazing about that project was also that it's a long web series, and there are a lot of other DOPs and directors involved, but it still looks the same. It's like a director and DOP has set a tone, and you will not feel like another director and DOP has done it. So I think that is really powerful. That is really something. It's a very slow series, very this thing, but I think that is something that one should also watch and understand how it works. Then this Queen Crown is also very beautifully executed film. I really like Stranger Things also because I feel that it's a very engaging. I really like how the DOP of Stranger Things. He has basically used a lot of colors. Uh, in like tube lights get through and neon and stuff is made the set. And I really like colors. Like for me, I don't know if you've seen my diploma film, but that was the first place where I experimented with colors. So as I said, I believe a lot in emotion. That is why I connect everything with colors. So for me, wherever I see use of colors, I really get inspired because I think colors are something that not everybody can execute it so well. And in Stranger Things, they have used used colors in a very um, intelligent, very beautifully.
And ma'am, if somebody wants to become a cinematographer, what advice would you give to them, ma'am?
First, you should be 100% sure this is what you want to do because cinematography is not easy. It's physically, mentally, together exhausting in time. If you come back from a set and you feel like why I'm here, you're not. Because when I come from a film set with all that exhaustion and with all the tiredness mentally and physically, I am feeling fresh, you know. So if you're feeling that in any job, that means you are doing right. If the moment you feel like, ऐसे हम सुनते हैं ना जो लोग jobs करते हैं, अरे why am I doing? Why there is Sunday not coming? You know, it's a because when we're shooting 50-55 days or maybe 30-30, you literally don't get weekends. You have like one break in a week in like 10 days. So you are like continuously working for 10 days. There's no concept of Saturday, Sunday. There's no concept of Monday blues, nothing. You're working, you're going there and working. So if you want to, it's a highly technical field. It's a very fast growing field. आज आपने एक कैमरा खरीद लिया 2 साल के बाद वो कैमरा चला जाएगा कोई और आ जाएगा आज आपने कोई लेंस आपका फेवरेट है कल उसके दूसरा लेंस वुड बी योर फेवरेट grips में lights में this continuous innovation that's coming continuous changes are happening how much you're willing to adapt to it to play to it have the courage to experiment it with confidence okay this is a new light I have not worked with it but I'll bring it on set and I'll work it and I'll make it look good you know so it is a very passion driven field. So till it is you are not feeling very I think it's okay if not passionate about, but till you don't think that this is what you want to do and this is your job you want to be there for, then I would say that you can try for other streams in filmmaking if you want to make films. Like for me, I was always sure I want to be a filmmaker, but my only direction kept changing from acting to director to DOP, and now I've also got into editing. So I do stuff because COVID happened, and then that got me into editing. For so आप explore करते रहोगे, but what is your base? Your base should be same. Like I don't want to leave cinematography, I want to do that. So you can fill your gaps with editing, grading, you can fill your gaps because it's a technical field and you need to always, you need to make money also, right? Because you need to survive. So it's not necessary कि cinematography में आपको continuous काम मिलता रहेगा. There will be months where they're not. So it's okay to have. I believe it's okay to have other sources of income. It keeps you very mentally fresh also because you're doing different things. Helps you to learn. The reason I got into editing was because I knew and I could edit in my head. So and I knew the basics of editing. So how to create that story. So it's again, as I said, it's a very collaborative thing. हर चीज एक जगह आनी चाहिए. So I shoot, I edit also together sometimes. I shoot, like I direct shoot like documentaries and stuff. There are some projects where I'll direct myself, shoot myself, come and edit myself. But if I have time, otherwise I'll outsource the editing. Like that. So till it comes from your heart, कि this is what I want to do, then only you should get into filmmaking because it's वो फोन उठा के शूट करने वाला सीन है ही नहीं है. इट्स अ वेरी डिफरेंट सेट एंड इट इज अ वेरी बिग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. Cinematographer is a very big because you are bringing vision, someone else's and your and other crew member ka vision to life. You know, it's a big responsibility. Your actors are acting in front of you, trusting that they look good in whatever they are doing, right? आप लाइटिंग से उनका फेस नहीं छुपा सकते. यू हैव टू lit them in a way because every lighting also has a character. आप एकदम हैप्पी सीन में if you low lit it, every lighting has character also. So you need to understand how are you making your actors feel. They can feel uncomfortable with your sense of lighting also. You know, so it is a very big responsibility. You have to take it on your shoulders and run through the set with confidence that you can pull it off. That's when everything can happen.
Okay. And ma'am, are you currently doing any future projects? Shooting?
So I'm in talks of doing a series and I'm also doing ads and stuff uh, together. But yeah, so more or less that, and I keep doing small like some sort of documentaries also.
Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining. Had a lovely,
No
lovely,
problem.
lovely chat, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.